Mock Star question number 38. Which group followed the advice given in this address? So this here is George Washington's farewell address, or at least a small excerpt from his farewell address in 1796. The great rule of conduct for us in regard to foreign nations is in extending our commercial relations to have with them as little political connection as possible. So far as we have already formed engagements, let them be fulfilled with perfect good faith. Here let us stop. Europe has set primary interests which to us have none, or a very remote relation. Hence she must be engaged in frequent controversies, the causes of which are essentially foreign to our concerns. So what George Washington is saying here, it will be summarized right over here. And so we're going to start actually with the strategies. We start with the era. We got U.S. expansionism and World War I. And we are using we know it's the expansionism because it's George Washington's advice about possible isolationism here, and it's talking about Europe as well, and so it's talking about people outside of the U.S. and possibility of us wanting to relate or move in or anything like that. Topic is political. That is because it's about policies of which the American government is wanting to use or will be discussing in these 4 different examples. So a quick summary of this excerpt. The U.S. should have little political connection to other countries. The U.S. should keep to itself and conduct its current trade in good faith with these other countries. We don't need to be expanding. We don't need to be getting involved in other countries' affairs, is kind of what's being said here. And so now we'll go through these answers and we will X out the incorrect ones. So answer F. Which group followed the advice given in this address? F. Expansionists during the Spanish-American War. This one is incorrect. It is incorrect because it does not follow the advice given in here. The advice given is the U.S. should have little political connection to other countries and should not be expanding. This is the main part that is incorrect. H. Hawks in Congress during the Vietnam War. So hawks, we went over this in an earlier question. Hawks are war hawks. They're Congress members who are looking for more war. They're looking for an expansion or an escalation of war. And so this does not follow what George Washington is advising in here, which is kind of the opposite of what they're wanting. J. Civil libertarians in Congress after the start of the War on Terror. So real quick, the civil libertarian, it's a strain of political thought that supports civil liberties, or it emphasizes the individual's rights above all else. And so civil libertarians in Congress after the start of the War on Terror, that is incorrect because it's not pertaining to the isolationism that is being taught or advised by George Washington. That makes G the correct answer, isolationists regarding the Treaty of Versailles after World War I. And so the main part of this is the isolationists. That is what George Washington was. That's what he wanted America to be going forward. And the Treaty of Versailles is how we're going to give over power back to Germany after World War I, kind of the treaty of how it's supposed to conduct themselves, as well as how other countries would take over kind of the watchful eye over them while we could back out and go back to our isolationist sort of ideals.